order to the respondents and interested parties immediately, with proof of service to be filed by the close of business on November 12th. Now, the respondents are required to submit their responses by December 11th, while the petitioner may file a rejoinder by January 9, 2026. A mention is scheduled for January 22nd to confirm compliance and discuss the expedited hearing of the application. All right, moving on, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has cautioned Kenyans against crossing into neighboring countries in pursuit of justice or political engagement, warning that freedoms enjoyed locally, especially freedom of expression, may not be guaranteed elsewhere. Speaking during the opening of the 3-day Software AI Summit 2025 at Moi University's School of Law in Eldoret, Mudavadi expressed concern over the growing trend of Kenyans traveling abroad without understanding the legal and constitutional differences in other nations. He further warned young people to be mindful of their online behavior, noting that social media activity is now being closely monitored by foreign governments.
Me to speak as a Kenyan. In the last few weeks, we are also experiencing a situation where we are having a lot of interventions for young people. Some for good causes, some for adventure. I just want to encourage you. The world has become what it is. Let us defend our Constitution. Let us protect our rights. Let us consolidate our rights in accordance with our Constitution. But again, please remember, the moment you step beyond Kenya's borders, it's not the Constitution of Kenya that applies. You enter a sovereign state with different regulations and different laws. My prayer is that our young people, as they enjoy their freedom, please be cautious. It is absolutely important. We don't want to lose any Kenyan. We don't want to have any young life obstructed. So as you go out there, as we develop these skills, just bear in mind that there are some basic issues that we must not abandon. There's an African proverb that talks about break the chains and you gain your freedom. But if you cut your roots, you die. It may seem fashionable to disparage the president and to ridicule the president and to ridicule Mudavadi and to ridicule every other person because it looks fashionable. But I'm telling you, it will not be fashionable when you find that your visa is being denied. So enjoy this space, make good use of it, but do what is ethical, do what is right, because we want you to go far.
All right, moving on, Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei has sparked controversy after publicly supporting the arrest and alleged mistreatment of Kenyan activists, that is Bob Njagi and Nicholas Zoyo, in Uganda, calling for stricter measures against them at home. Now speaking at KG Church in Kapsabet on Sunday, Cherargei praised Ugandan and Tanzanian authorities for their actions and urged Kenya to follow suit, claiming the activist activities threatened regional peace. KAG Church, where the remarks were made, quickly distanced itself from Cherargei's comments, emphasizing that the church does not support statements that may divide Kenyans. Despite the backlash, Cherargei has refused to apologize for his remarks, standing firmly by his position.
Museveni alikubali kuachilia kina hawa Bob Njagi na wale wengine activists. Wezi enda kwa nyumba ya mtu unaanza kukorogana. Mimi nataka nimuulize Mheshimiwa Samia Suluhu Hassan, Mheshimiwa Museveni, I want to ask President Museveni and President Samia Suluhu Hassan, if you get any busybodies activists who want to destabilize the sovereignty and the peace and tranquility of your country, finya hawa, warudishe nyumbani, tuwamalizie.
Every country iko na sheria na tabia zake. Tuheshimu tabia na mienendo za watu ya huko. Au namna gani? Vile vile wale uheshimu tabia na mienendo za watu ya Kenya. Si namna hiyo? Ili tabia zetu na mienendo zetu isilete vurugu katika eneo letu Afrika Mashariki.
All right, moving on, former Botswana President Ian Khama has criticized the swearing-in of Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu Hassan, refusing to recognize her election. Now, speaking at Lukenya University in Makueni, Khama alleged that President Samia forced her way into power by oppressing Tanzanians during an election that resulted in the death of hundreds of citizens. Meanwhile, in Tanzania, the court case against opposition leader, that is Tundu Lissu, did not proceed on Monday, leaving the matter pending.
The recent election and what transpired, the killings around that election, I for one do not recognize the person who was inaugurated as the president. She is an illegitimate president. It is totally unacceptable when an African leader, in order to stay in power, will resort to killing his or her own people. In order to stay in power, will rig an election, as if they are God's gift to their country. Recently, we saw another inauguration of a 90-something-year-old president in Cameroon. 90-something years old, who can hardly walk, but still wants to be president.
All right, now let's talk matters education. And the Teachers Service Commission, that is TSC, in collaboration with teachers' unions, has announced that all teachers will now be covered under the Social Health Authority, that is SHA. The announcement followed a meeting between TSC, the unions, and SHA officials, where the benefits package under the new coverage was presented. The decision comes after addressing key concerns raised by teachers, including the provision of group cover, elimination of pre-authorization hurdles, and full disclosure of participating hospitals and benefits. Now, union representatives expressed optimism that the move would streamline healthcare access for educators and ensure transparency in service delivery.
What we've agreed is that we are transitioning to SHA with effect from 1st of December 2025. As you are aware, the medical scheme for teachers under Minet is coming to an end on 30th of November. We are working towards a seamless transition of our teachers to the new medical scheme.
Society which now existed prior to this meeting is been allayed, and because it has been allayed, it is official that we hope the Teacher Service Commission will do all the due diligence such that the teachers of this country benefit from excess of loss and also the ex gratia. I think these are the take homes that they are.
We have an expanded network of providers. This will be much improved from the current offering that Aeon Minet has. We're looking at expanding this list to include level 6 hospitals, level 5 hospitals, level 4 hospitals, level 3.
All right, now let's talk matters politics. And President William Ruto has urged Kenyans to rally behind leaders with vision, strategic plans, and the courage to elevate the country beyond third world status and promote inclusive national growth. Speaking during the conclusion of his development tour of Samburu County, President William Ruto emphasized the importance of unity and collective effort in achieving Kenya's long-term development goals. He cautioned against divisive politics, saying national progress depends on collaboration across all sectors of society. During the visit, head of state launched a construction of the 30-kilometer Maralal-Suyani Road, part of the larger Maralal-Baragoi project, and later addressed residents of Maralal town.
Mnajua mimi nilikubaliana na former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, tukasema tuondoe siasa ya chuki Kenya. Tuondoe siasa ya ukabila. Tuunganishe Wakenya wote. Ndio tukatengeneza serikali ya broad based, ya mapana na marefu, ya kuunganisha Wakenya wote. Nyinyi mnasema tuungane ama tutengane? Mnasema tuungane. Sisi wote tuwe timu moja, timu Samburu na timu Kenya. Hebu niole wala watu. Samburu kuwahamasisha, kuwaambia ile Samburu ya kubaki nyuma, nafasi hiyo imepotea. Sasa ni Samburu ya kuungana na Kenya ingine. Na ndio sababu hiyo nimekuja hapa kwa mambo ya kupanga miradi na maendeleo ya Samburu County. Mbali na hii Technical Training College yenu, pia tuko na program ya housing. Pesa ya serikali ambayo tumetoa, huyu mama Alice Wahome ambaye ni waziri wa mambo ya ujenzi, nimemueleza atoe pesa ya serikali bilioni 7.4 alete Samburu County. Hiyo pesa tutatumia kujenga affordable houses karibu nyumba 4,000. Tutatumia kujenga masoko 5 mpya. Tutatumia kujenga hostels ya watoto 2,000 ya Samburu County. Ndio tuhakikishe ya kwamba saa ile Kenya inasonga mbele, Samburu iko katikati ya kusonga mbele. Ama mnasemaje watu wa Samburu? Tumeelewana?
All right, that particular story takes us on our first breather here on EBN Prime Edition, but we'll be back in just a bit.
World.
Right, welcome back to the program. Moving on, former Education Cabinet Secretary and Jubilee Party Vice Chairperson Dr. Fred Matiang'i has accused the Kenya Kwanza administration of neglecting the education sector, citing what he described as the government's failure to prioritize the welfare of learners and parents. Speaking in Kiambu County, Matiang'i criticized the alleged reintroduction of school fees by 50%, terming it a major setback to access to quality education for many families struggling with the high cost of living. He urged the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission, that is the IEBC, to devolve the voter registration exercise to ward levels to enable financially challenged citizens to exercise their constitutional right to vote. Matiang'i made the remarks during a church service at Life Church International in Limuru, where he was accompanied by Kisii Senator Richard Onyonka and former Ndaragwa MP Jeremiah Kioni.
Don't do it as if, in stages, Natana, it's like a privilege, we're trying to intimidate people or sometimes blackmail our citizens. Let's be serious about this thing. Now here, I have been addressing policy issues. I've spoken, for example, about the reduction of capitation to schools, especially day schools. By the time we left the government, we had crossed the 22,000 mark. Now you're reducing it by by nearly 50%. You are now talking about 12,000. Obviously, when schools open in January, the kids who are going to day schools are going to have to pay fees. Who's going to pay the fees? The same parents who are struggling with SHA, the same parents who are struggling with the housing levy, the same parents who are struggling. I mean, are we serious, honestly? And this is an issue we can sort out very easily by, number one, cutting wastage in government. We have an opulent, wasteful government, big offices, big titles, big people, I don't know how many tons of advisors who would be earning salaries, big jobs and so on. We behave as if we are a developed country. Frankly, this is not rocket science, honestly. Which country in the world that wants to go serious does those kinds of things? And you are now putting our kids out. If we are not very careful, our dropout rates will go back to the pre-Kibaki days. Yeah. Because you see, what are you telling me? We are playing games around, using language and semantics. They don't want to say, look, we are going to abolish for example, examination fees and so on and so forth. If you told an ordinary parent to spend 5,700 to pay for exams, 5,700, how many parents will manage that? This is common sense. You don't need philosophers around the table to help you. You look at the the context in which you are working on. Look at the challenges you have. You find a way of saving resources and putting them on the criticals. The criticals in this society are education, health, and then from there, security. So you look at how you can mop up resources and put them in the criticals. So this is not the time when you have a truckload of advisors, everybody who's, collect every political stillborn and make them something. And we call them what, so on. Then in the process, you are paying them money, they are driving around government money and so on and so forth. Then people are flying around the country in choppers and so on, telling, empowerment. The IEBC is not prepared for a proper voter registration. We are all hoping that during the mass voter registration, then opportunities will be provided and we'll have more capacity within the constituencies to do the registration. Don't do it as if, in stages, Natana, it's like a privilege, we're trying to intimidate people or sometimes blackmail our citizens. Let's be serious about this thing. Now here, I've been addressing policy issues. I've spoken, for example, about the reduction of capitation to schools, especially day schools. By the time we left the government, we had crossed the 22,000 mark. Now you're reducing it by nearly 50.
Right now, church leaders and some political figures have called for peace and reconciliation during the ongoing by-election campaigns in Kasipul constituency, that is in Homa Bay County. Now the appeal follows clashes in the Opodo area where 2 youth were killed and another seriously injured. ODM party chairman condemned the incident, says, urging residents to maintain calm and avoid violence as they exercise their democratic rights. Leaders emphasize the importance of electing a representative who will genuinely address the needs of Kasipul constituencies and focus on development rather than division. The call for peace conduct comes as campaigns intensify, highlighting concerns over safety and stability in the lead up to the by-election.
Sio tabia zetu tena. Hatutaki kurudi nyumba wakati watu wanakuwa wanatupa mawe. Mambo ya mawe iliisha na ile wakati. Sasa ni wakati wa uchaguzi ambaye ni wa haki, na tunajua ya kwamba yule ambaye atachaguliwa na watu hao ambaye wanaenda kwa by election, huyo ndio atakuwa kiongozi. Lakini kutupa mawe, kutusi wengine na kusema hawezi na kusema mambo mengi, hiyo kama kanisa tumekemea.
Nataka niseme ya kwamba tuko na by elections katika constituencies tofauti. Na mimi nataka kuomba kama national chairperson wa chama, wanachama wetu kila mahali, tafadhali tudumishe amani. Na nataka nipinge kabisa ile mambo ambayo ilifanyika hapa Kasipul. Nataka kuomba amani. Kura iombwe kwa amani. Hakuna siku kuleta vita italeta kura. Sisi kama wanachama wa ODM, nataka kuambia wafuasi wetu kila mahali, tafadhali tuzingatie amani, tufanye rally zetu kwa amani, kwa sababu najua wananchi wameshaamua ya kwamba zile viti ambazo
sio tabia zetu tena. Hatutaki kurudi nyumba wakati watu wanakuwa wanatupa mawe. Mambo ya mawe iliisha na ile wakati. Sasa ni wakati wa uchaguzi ambaye ni wa haki, na tunajua ya kwamba yule ambaye atachaguliwa na watu hao ambaye wanaenda kwa by election, huyo ndio atakuwa kiongozi. Lakini kutupa mawe, kutusi wengine na kusema hawezi na kusema mambo mengi, hiyo kama kanisa tumekemea.
Nataka niseme ya kwamba tuko na by elections katika constituencies tofauti. Na mimi nataka kuomba kama national chairperson wa chama.
Right, at the same time, County Commissioner Ronald Muiwai has called on all Kasipul constituency by-election aspirants and their supporters to maintain peace and refrain from violence during the campaign period. Speaking to the press, CC Muiwai emphasized the importance of respecting life and ensuring a peaceful environment as the constituency prepares for the upcoming polls. He urged candidates and their supporters to prioritize dialogue, civility, and democratic conduct, warning that any acts of aggression could undermine the integrity of the electoral process. Now, the CC remarks comes amid heightened tensions following previous clashes in the area, highlighting the need for calm as the by-election approaches.
It's only God whom should give him that opportunity to take life. And that's why I'm also asking our political leaders, anytime you have your supporters, don't use your supporters to turn against other supporters. Let us not have our teams, which are well trained, to counter another team in a forceful manner, because anytime we have that kind of a counter, it's like we are forming two rival groups. We are at an advanced stage. I don't want to comment much, but we are at an advanced stage. We are zeroing in on the people involved, and I think within this week we'll be able to know, and we'll have some people getting arrested. So the progress is good, I can assure everybody. Upon the structure of the interfaith, because we have the county and we still have the sub-county leadership. So assisted by the county leadership, we are asking the clergy leadership of Rachonyo South, where Kasipul constituency is, to use the advantage position of being men of God and women of God to speak to the people of Kasipul that humanity deserves respect, and that we have legal framework, yes, but again we have the divine framework. Let's do everything in the fear of God.
Now, as Mera North constituency gears up for its crucial by-election on November 27th, residents are shifting their focus from traditional political rhetoric to a deeper reflection on economic empowerment and personal development. This change in perspective was highlighted during a business and entrepreneurship training held in Momenji Ward, which brought together over 500 participants, including local leaders, clergy, and business owners. The forum's central theme encouraged attendees to evaluate political choices based on the tangible benefits leaders can deliver rather than campaign promises. Discussions revolved around key development challenges facing Mbeere North, including access to clean water, electricity, good roads, and thriving markets. Speakers highlighted the irony of the region's abundant natural resources, such as the Tana River and Kiambere Dam, which power national infrastructure but leave many local households without clean water or electricity. Similarly, despite the thriving sand harvesting industry, the poor state of feeder roads continues to hinder economic progress.
Mimi kama mkaanji wa Momenje, ile kiongozi na itanji, nile ambayo manifesto yake ya kwanza ni kutazama wakaanji wa Momenje. Na watatazama namna gani? Tunahitaji kuinulia uchumi wetu, maana kila mtu anahitaji pesa mfukoni. Na hasa pesa itapatikana wakati tutapata maji ya kulima, ili mama mboga aweze kuwa na mboga zake. Kama ni wale ambao wanalisha, waweze kuwa wako na mbuzi zao ambazo wanaweza peleka mahali kuuza.
All right, now moving on, the 25th East African Community, that is EAC, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, that is the MSMEs Trade Fair, is in its first week at the Uhuru Gardens in Nairobi, celebrating 25 years of regional integration and event which brings together entrepreneurs, policymakers, and business leaders, highlighting innovation, regional value chains, and strategies for sustainable economic growth across the East African region. Trade Cabinet Secretary Wycliffe Oparanya reaffirmed Kenya's commitment to supporting small businesses, emphasizing the government's dedication to creating an enabling environment for MSMEs to thrive. Speakers at the fair also called for stronger policies to empower women and youth entrepreneurs, stressing that inclusive economic participation is critical for long-term regional development. Lisa Motinda now reports.
The 25th East African Community Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Trade Fair happening at the Uhuru Gardens, Nairobi from the 7th to 16th of November 2025. The event celebrates 25 years of East African community integration under the theme Advancing Innovation and Regional Value Chains for Competitive Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Towards Sustainable Development. Cabinet Secretary for Trade Wycliffe Oparanya opened the fair, highlighting innovation in agriculture, the digital economy and creative sector, he reaffirmed Kenya's commitment to supporting micro, small and medium enterprises despite challenges such as limited resources, poor infrastructure and access to finance.
To our MSMEs, there will be no trade fair without you. Each year, your creativity, resilience, and innovation continue to inspire us. And as a ministry, we cannot do everything at the same time. So we have selected 4 critical areas that we are focusing in for this particular 5 years. This particular 5 years of our medium-term plan. And the first one is access to finance, which we will be talking about. Second one, access to the market. What we are doing here is part of the access to the market. Digital transformation is very critical. This is one of our priority areas under the economic transformation agenda. And of course, making sure that these small businesses also adopt to climate changes that they are taking place. So green economy transformation and financing is very critical to this small institution.
Principal Secretary for East African Community Affairs, Caroline Karungu, called the fair a key platform for entrepreneurship and regional market growth.
In 2019, we challenged MSMEs that we don't want to be seeing you in every trade fair because we want you to live from micro to small, from small to medium, from medium to large enterprises. This is a conversation to be had at this time because we must be able to scale our MSMEs into large companies. And let me tell you, East Africa is a place to be. If you are from any other part of the world, this is a place that is going to get you the best returns of investments, and these are the people to invest in, the MSMEs in East Africa. I thank you very much.
Mela Kok, an executive director of the International Trade Center, praised the resilience of micro, small and medium enterprises during the COVID-19 pandemic, urging continued support and policies to boost the growth.
So the call to action will deliver solutions, and it has emerged from Johannesburg. It gave us a concrete roadmap for what comes next. It articulated clearly that governments were ready to work far more closely together so that access to affordable finance would no longer be in the remit of the few, that digital transformation could become the enjoyment of the many, and that the green transition might become an enabler for greater prosperity instead of a hindrance to market access.
Lisa Motinda reporting for EBN TV.
All right, thank you, Lisa Motinda, for that particular report. It is exactly 33 minutes past the top of the hour. That note, we wrap up our program here on EBN Prime Edition. Many thanks, of course, keeping us company until this particular minute. Our sign language interpreter tonight has been Laura Mondi. My name is Martin Macharia. Do yourself a lovely night. And as always, let's do this again when God says we do.